The Power of Walking Away. A Stoic Guide to Reclaiming Your Peace. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in quicksand, sinking deeper the harder you fight to get out? Maybe it's a friendship that leaves you emotionally drained, a job that dims your spark, or a nagging sense that you are pouring your energy into something that's not giving back. We've all been there, trapped in situations that feel like they're stealing our joy. But what if the key to breaking free isn't fighting harder, but stepping away? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism, championed by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, offers timeless wisdom for navigating life's challenges with clarity and courage. Walking away doesn't mean running or giving up. It's about choosing yourself, reclaiming your peace, and aligning with what truly matters. Below, we'll explore 10 Stoic lessons to help you let go of what's holding you back and step into a life of purpose and tranquility. Ready to find the courage to walk away? Let's dive in. First, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's within our control. Epictetus famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you're stuck in a toxic situation, you can't control others' actions or external circumstances, but you can control your response. Walking away is an act of reclaiming that power, choosing to prioritize your mental clarity over external chaos. Next, consider the Stoic principle of accepting impermanence. Seneca reminds us that everything, relationships, jobs, even struggles, is temporary. Clinging to something that no longer serves you is like trying to hold water in your hands. Letting go allows you to flow with life's natural rhythm. Third, practice amor fati, or love of fate. Marcus Aurelius urged us to embrace what comes, saying, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny." Sometimes, walking away is accepting that a chapter has ended, trusting that it's part of your larger journey. Fourth, Stoics emphasize self-discipline. Walking away isn't impulsive, it's a deliberate choice to protect your energy. This discipline requires saying no to what drains you, whether it's a demanding job or a one-sided friendship. Fifth, cultivate indifference to things that don't matter. Epictetus taught that we suffer when we assign too much value to external things, status, approval, or validation. By detaching from these, you free yourself to walk away without guilt. Sixth, Stoicism encourages reflection on your values. What truly matters to you? If a situation misaligns with your core principles, walking away becomes an act of integrity. Seventh, embrace the power of perspective. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You can remove many unnecessary troubles by choosing to think differently." Reframe walking away as an opportunity for growth, not a loss. Eighth, practice gratitude for what you've learned. Even toxic situations teach resilience or reveal what you don't want. Seneca advised giving thanks for life's lessons, which makes letting go easier. Ninth, Stoics value courage. Walking away takes immense bravery, facing the unknown, resisting societal pressure, or defying expectations. Channel this courage to prioritize your well-being. Finally, live in the present. Seneca said, "Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future." Walking away anchors you in the now, freeing you from past burdens and future worries. These 10 Stoic lessons, control, impermanence, amor fati, discipline, indifference, values, perspective, gratitude, courage, and presence, equip you to let go with purpose. By stepping away, you're not admitting defeat. You're choosing a life of clarity, strength, and peace. So, take a deep breath, trust yourself, and walk toward the freedom you deserve. The strength in letting go. Not everything in your life deserves your energy. Picture yourself carrying a backpack stuffed with heavy rocks, each one a toxic relationship, a dead-end job, or a draining habit that weighs you down. Every step feels heavier, your spark dimming under the load. The ancient Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, understood this struggle. They taught that true power lies not in fighting every battle, but in choosing which ones are worth your effort. To them, walking away wasn't defeat. It was a bold, deliberate step toward freedom and self-preservation. Their wisdom offers a timeless guide for shedding what no longer serves you, helping you reclaim your energy and find peace. Imagine standing at a crossroads in your life. One path keeps you tethered to something draining. A friend who constantly criticizes, a job that feels like a treadmill to nowhere, or a habit that saps your vitality. This path is familiar, but it's suffocating, pulling you further from who you want to be. The other path is uncertain, even intimidating, but it promises growth, clarity, and peace. Choosing to walk away doesn't mean you're weak or giving up. It's a sign of wisdom, a recognition that your energy is finite and precious. As Seneca wrote, "You must let go of what is useless to make room for what is fruitful." Walking away is like pruning a tree, cutting away dead branches so the healthy ones can flourish. It's an act of courage, rooted in self-respect. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and choices. You can't change a toxic person's behavior or fix a soul-crushing job, but you can choose how much of yourself you invest. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Walking away is claiming that power, refusing to let external circumstances dictate your inner peace. It is not about running from problems, but about redirecting your energy toward what aligns with your values. Ask yourself, what's one thing in your life that's not worth your time? Identifying it is the first step to letting go. The Stoics also remind us to embrace impermanence. Everything, relationships, jobs, struggles, is temporary. Clinging to something that no longer serves you is like trying to hold on to a fading sunset. Seneca urged us to accept life's cycles, saying, "We must be willing to let go of the life we plan to have the life that is waiting for us." Walking away opens the door to new possibilities, even if the path ahead feels uncertain. It's about trusting that letting go creates space for growth, just as a forest clears old trees to let new ones rise. Finally, Stoicism calls for courage and clarity. Walking away takes bravery, to face the unknown, to defy expectations, to prioritize yourself. Epictetus taught that freedom comes from detaching from what doesn't matter. If you wish to be free, do not desire things that depend on others. By letting go of what weighs you down, you're not abandoning your responsibilities. You're choosing a life of purpose. So reflect on your backpack of rocks. What's one burden you can release? Whether it's a draining relationship, a stifling job, or a habit that holds you back, the Stoics would urge you to set it down. Walk away, not out of weakness, but with the strength to choose yourself. In that choice lies your freedom, your peace, and a life that thrives. Boundaries are your shield. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's survival. Imagine your life as a garden, filled with vibrant flowers representing your peace, energy, and joy. Without a fence, people can trample through, leaving your garden in disarray. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, were masters at drawing lines in the sand, not to exclude others, but to protect what matters most. Walking away from situations that cross those boundaries isn't weakness. It's a powerful act of self-preservation. By setting limits, you guard your well-being and create space for a life aligned with your values. Let us explore how Stoic wisdom can guide you in setting boundaries to protect your peace and reclaim your strength. Your time, heart, and energy are not unlimited. They're treasures, finite and precious. When you say no to a relationship that leaves you feeling small or step back from a situation that is all chaos and no growth, you're not being cold. You're being kind to yourself. The Stoics would approve as they emphasize controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't. Epictetus said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Setting boundaries is an exercise of that power, a declaration that you decide what gets to stay in your life. It's about prioritizing your mental clarity over external demands, whether it's a draining friendship, a toxic workplace, or a habit that saps your vitality. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own sphere of control. You can't change how others act, but you can choose how much access they have to your energy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." When you set a boundary, perhaps by limiting time with a negative person or declining extra work that overwhelms you, you are revoking permission for external chaos to disrupt your peace. This isn't about building walls. It's about creating a gate you control, allowing only what nurtures your growth to enter. Another Stoic principle is clarity of purpose. Seneca advised, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Boundaries help you define your destination, your values, goals, and well-being. By saying no to what misaligns with your purpose, you make room for what does. For example, if a relationship constantly undermines your confidence, setting a boundary might mean reducing contact or walking away entirely. This act of courage aligns with the Stoic virtue of justice, treating yourself with the same respect you offer others. It's not selfish, it's fair. Finally, Stoicism encourages living with intention. Setting boundaries requires you to reflect. Where is your energy being drained? What's one line you can draw today to protect your peace? Perhaps it's limiting time on social media, declining extra commitments, or having an honest conversation with someone who oversteps. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. By setting boundaries, you're not shutting out the world. You're curating your garden, ensuring it thrives. So, take a moment to consider, what's one boundary you can set today? Draw that line, not out of fear, but from a place of strength. The Stoics would see it as an act of wisdom, a step toward a life of clarity, purpose, and unshakable peace. Finding closure. Within. The myth of closure often traps us in a cycle of waiting, as if someone else holds the key to our peace. How many times have you lingered, hoping for an apology, an explanation, or even a fleeting sign that never arrives? It's like sitting by an empty mailbox day after day, expecting a letter that was never sent. This longing for external validation can leave you stuck, tethered to a moment or a person who may never offer resolution. But what if the power to move forward lies within you? The Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, believed that true peace comes from within, not from the actions of others. By embracing this mindset, you can break free from the need for external closure and reclaim control over your own emotional freedom. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This insight is profound. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, not on someone else tying up the loose ends of your pain. When a friend betrays you, a partner leaves without explanation, or a job burns you out, waiting for them to make it right can feel like an anchor dragging you down. The truth is, those who hurt you may never acknowledge their role, and even if they do, their words might not heal the wound. The Stoics remind us that waiting for external closure is a choice to remain powerless. Instead, you can decide to close the chapter yourself, not by ignoring the pain, but by confronting it and choosing to move forward. Self-given closure is an act of empowerment. It begins with acknowledging what happened, whether it was a betrayal, a loss, or a disappointment. Feel the hurt, sit with it, but don't let it become your identity. Imagine your mind as a house with many rooms. The pain is a door you've left open, hoping someone else will close it. By choosing to shut that door yourself, you're not erasing the past. You're refusing to let it define your future. This act of mental discipline is like locking the door behind you and stepping into a new room, one filled with possibility. It is not about pretending the hurt never happened, but about recognizing that you don't need someone else's permission to heal. This approach aligns with Stoic principles of focusing on what you can control. You can't control whether someone apologizes or explains themselves, but you can control how you process the experience. For example, if a friend's betrayal left you questioning your trust in others, you might journal about the lessons learned, forgive them in your heart, not for their sake, but for yours, and then consciously shift your energy toward relationships that uplift you. If a job left you feeling undervalued, reflect on what you gained from the experience, then pivot toward opportunities that align with your values. This process isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about channeling them into growth. So what's one situation where you can give yourself closure today? Perhaps it's a lingering resentment towards someone who wronged you, or a regret about an opportunity you missed. Take a moment to name it. Write it down, speak it aloud, or simply hold it in your mind. Then, decide to let it go. Not because the situation was fair, but because you deserve to move forward. By closing that chapter, you're not just surviving. You're thriving, armed with the Stoic wisdom that your peace is yours to claim. Stepping out of your comfort zone. Growth is inherently messy, often frightening, and yet it's where transformation unfolds. The fourth Stoic lesson centers on the courage to walk away from what's comfortable but stifling, much like a butterfly breaking free from its chrysalis. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, offered a powerful insight. The best way to respond to someone who wrongs you is to refuse to become like them. This principle extends beyond people to situations, habits, or environments that hold you back. Walking away from toxicity or stagnation isn't just an act of defiance. It is a deliberate choice to prioritize growth over the ease of staying stuck. Imagine you're in a job that pays the bills but leaves you drained, waking up each day with a sense of emptiness. Or perhaps you're in a relationship that feels safe, familiar, but no longer sparks joy or inspires you to be your best self. Staying in these situations can seem like the path of least resistance. The comfort zone, after all, is predictable. It's a well-worn path that requires little effort to maintain, but the Stoics would argue that clinging to familiarity at the cost of your potential is a betrayal of your own strength. True power lies in recognizing when something no longer serves you and having the courage to step away, even when the next step feels uncertain. Walking away doesn't mean running from a challenge. It is about choosing a different kind of challenge. One that aligns with your values and pushes you toward the person you were meant to become. The Stoics emphasized focusing on what you can control, and while you can't always control external circumstances, you can control your response. Staying in a toxic environment or holding on to outdated habits out of fear keeps you tethered to a version of yourself that no longer fits. Growth, on the other hand, demands discomfort. It asks you to embrace the unknown, to trust that the messiness of change is where the magic of transformation happens. Like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, the struggle is what strengthens you for the next chapter. Consider what happens when you choose to stay in that stifling job or relationship. You might avoid short-term uncertainty, but you risk long-term stagnation. The Stoic approach invites you to ask, what's the cost of staying? Perhaps it's your creativity, your energy, or your sense of purpose. Now imagine taking one step away. Maybe it's updating your resume, having an honest conversation, or simply admitting to yourself that you deserve more. That single step doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be intentional. It's a declaration that you're choosing growth over comfort, that you're unwilling to let fear define your path. So what's one thing keeping you in your comfort zone right now? It could be a habit, like procrastination, that feels safe but limits your progress. It could be a relationship that's familiar but no longer nourishing. Or maybe it's a job that provides security but dulls your passion. Take a moment to name it. Then picture what might happen if you took one small step away from it. Perhaps setting a boundary, exploring a new opportunity, or committing to a single action that aligns with your higher self. The Stoics remind us that growth isn't about grand. You can't change others. It's a hard truth to accept. You can't change other people. Not your partner, not your friend, not your boss. No matter how much you plead, reason, or push, trying to mold someone who isn't willing is like banging your head against a wall. It is painful, exhausting, and the wall stays firmly in place. The Stoics understood this deeply. urging us to stop wasting energy on what lies beyond our control. Instead, they pointed to the one person you can change: yourself. By redirecting your focus inward, you reclaim your power and open the door to meaningful growth. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, taught that we should let things take their natural course while focusing on what we can influence: our own thoughts, actions, and choices. This isn't about giving up or becoming passive. It's about strategic redirection. Pouring effort into changing someone who doesn't want to change is a losing battle that drains your energy and erodes your peace. Whether it's a partner who refuses to communicate, a friend who consistently lets you down, or a boss who dismisses your efforts, the Stoics would advise you to stop fighting for control over their behavior. Instead, walk away from that futile struggle and invest in yourself. This shift in focus isn't defeat, it's liberation. Walking away from trying to change others allows you to channel your energy into building a better version of yourself. Imagine what you could accomplish with all the time and effort you've spent trying to fix someone else. You could pick up a new hobby that sparks joy, like painting, running, or learning a language. You could build habits that strengthen your mind and body: meditation, journaling, or regular exercise. You could seek out people who inspire and uplift you, creating a circle that reflects the person you want to become. Each of these choices is a step toward growth, a way to cultivate resilience and purpose without relying on someone else to change. The Stoic principle of focusing on what you control is empowering because it frees you from the frustration of unattainable outcomes. When you stop trying to change others, you release yourself from the cycle of disappointment and resentment. For example, if you've been trying to make a partner more attentive, you might instead focus on communicating your needs clearly and deciding whether the relationship aligns with your values. If a friend's negativity drains you, you could set boundaries and spend more time with those who share your enthusiasm for growth. By letting go of the need to change others, you create space for your own transformation. So, take a moment to reflect. Who or what are you trying to change that's draining your energy? Maybe it's a coworker's attitude, a family member's habits, or even a situation you've been trying to force into being something it's not. Now, imagine what it would feel like to let that go. Picture redirecting that energy toward yourself, learning something new, nurturing your well-being, or surrounding yourself with people who align with your values. The Stoics remind us that true power lies in mastering ourselves, not others. By walking away from the impossible task of changing someone else, you are not just escaping a losing battle, you are stepping into a life where your growth takes center stage. What is one small step you can take today to focus on yourself instead of someone else's choices? Trust your inner compass. Intuition is that quiet, persistent voice within us all, whispering truths we don't always heed. This isn't right for you, or there's a better path ahead. It's like an inner compass, guiding us through life's complexities, yet we often drown it out with external noise, expectations, obligations, or the pressure to keep pushing forward. The Stoics, with their emphasis on self-awareness and inner wisdom, championed tuning into this instinct as a vital tool for living well. The sixth lesson in walking away is about trusting your gut, even when the world shouts at you to stay, to fight, or to endure. It's a call to honor your intuition as a source of strength, requiring courage to listen and act when it signals it's time to let go. Picture your intuition as a loyal friend, one who doesn't demand attention but offers gentle nudges when you need them most. It's that subtle feeling in your chest when a job, relationship, or situation feels misaligned, even if you can't pinpoint why. The Stoics would argue that this is your inner wisdom speaking, a blend of experience and instinct that deserves your trust. For them, living in accordance with nature meant aligning your actions with your deepest sense of truth. When your gut tells you something is off, a friendship that drains you, a career path that feels hollow, or a commitment that no longer fits, it's not just a fleeting feeling. It's a signal to pause, reflect, and, if necessary, walk away. Trusting your intuition isn't about abandoning logic or acting impulsively. It's about integrating that inner voice with thoughtful reflection. The Stoics valued reason, but they also understood that wisdom often speaks through quiet instinct. To hear it, you need to create space for stillness in a world that's constantly loud. Find a moment in your day, perhaps over a morning coffee, during a walk, or in the quiet before bed, and check in with yourself. Ask, does this situation align with who I am and who I want to become? Does it feel true to my values? If the answer is no, that's your intuition waving a flag, urging you to consider walking away. It's not about running from discomfort, but about choosing a path that resonates with your core. Acting on intuition can feel daunting, especially when external pressures, social norms, financial stability, or fear of judgment push you to stay put. Yet the Stoics remind us that true courage lies in aligning your life with your inner truth, even when it's inconvenient. Walking away from what no longer serves you isn't a sign of weakness, it's an act of self-respect. For example, if your intuition tells you a relationship is stifling your growth, you might set boundaries or have an honest conversation. If a job feels like a dead end, your gut might prompt you to explore new opportunities, even if the leap feels risky. These steps honor the wisdom within you. So, what's your intuition telling you right now? Is there a situation, a job, a habit, a relationship that feels out of sync with who you are? Are you ready to listen? Take a moment to get quiet and tune in. Write down what you feel, or simply sit with it. The Stoics would encourage you to trust that inner nudge, to see it as a guide toward a life that's truer to you. By walking away from what doesn't align, you are not just following your gut. You are stepping into a version of yourself that's more authentic and free. Walking away isn't quitting. The misconception that walking away equates to giving up is a trap that keeps us stuck in battles we don't need to fight. Far from waving a white flag, walking away is a strategic choice, a deliberate move, like a chess player sacrificing a piece to secure victory. The seventh Stoic lesson frames walking away as an act of power, rooted in discernment and self-mastery. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, captured this wisdom succinctly. Focus on what lies within your control and release what doesn't. By choosing to step back from situations that no longer serve you, you're not admitting defeat. You're reclaiming your energy for what truly matters. Consider a time you lingered in a fight too long, perhaps an argument that spiraled into hours of frustration or a project that was clearly doomed, yet consumed your time and effort. Reflect on how it felt to pour energy into something that led nowhere. What if instead you had chosen to walk away? The Stoics would argue that staying in a futile struggle often stems from pride, fear, or a need to prove something, but true strength lies in recognizing when a battle no longer aligns with your purpose. Walking away isn't about losing. It's about choosing your battles wisely, preserving your resources for endeavors that reflect your values and goals. This Stoic principle hinges on the idea of control. You can't control how others act, the outcome of every situation, or the external world's chaos, but you can control your response. Staying in a toxic workplace, for example, might feel like perseverance. But if it's eroding your mental health, it's a battle that's costing more than it's worth. Similarly, clinging to a draining friendship out of loyalty might seem noble, but it can sap the energy you could invest in relationships that uplift you. Walking away from these situations is a declaration that your peace and purpose take precedence. It is not about abandoning responsibility. It is about redirecting your focus to what you can influence and letting go of what you can estorte. The power of walking away lies in its intentionality. It's a conscious choice to prioritize your well-being and growth over external validation or sunk costs. Imagine a scenario where you re-stuck in a cycle of arguments with someone who refuses to listen. Continuing the fight might feel like standing your ground, but stepping back could free you to focus on your own clarity and growth. Or picture a project that's draining your resources with no clear path to success. Walking away might allow you to pivot towards something with greater potential. These choices reflect the Stoic ideal of aligning your actions with reason and purpose, rather than being driven by ego or obligation. So, what's one battle you're fighting that might not be worth your energy? Is it a conflict that's going in circles, a commitment that feels misaligned, or a situation that's dimming your spark? Ask yourself, does this serve my purpose, or is it holding me back? If the answer points to letting go, consider what walking away could look like. It might mean setting a boundary, resigning from a role, or simply shifting your focus to something that energizes you. The Stoics remind us that walking away isn't defeat. It is a strategic move toward a life that is more intentional and fulfilling. What is one step you could take today to choose your peace over a battle that is no longer yours to fight? Let your silence speak. Sometimes the most profound statement you can make is choosing to say nothing at all. The 8th Stoic lesson centers on the power of non-engagement, a deliberate act of stepping back from negativity to preserve your inner peace. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, cautioned that we often harm ourselves more by taking things personally than by letting them go. Engaging in every argument or reacting to every slight can drain your energy and pull you away from what truly matters. Walking away from a negativity, whether it's a petty dispute or a toxic person, isn't it a sign of weakness? It's a testament to your strength and self-mastery. Imagine a scenario where someone is trying to drag you into a heated argument, baiting you with provocative words, or perhaps you are caught in the swirl of workplace drama that doesn't require your involvement. The instinct might be to jump in, to defend yourself, or to set the record straight. But what if instead you chose to step back? By refusing to engage, you're not conceding defeat. You're making a conscious choice to protect your peace. This silence is powerful. It communicates, "My energy is too valuable for this." The Stoics emphasized focusing on what aligns with your values and letting go of what doesn't. Choosing not to engage is a way of conserving your strength for pursuits that truly matter, your personal growth, your goals, and your happiness. This Stoic principle is rooted in the idea of controlling what you can and releasing what you cannot. You can't control someone else's behavior, their need to provoke, or the negativity they bring, but you can control how you respond. Engaging in every conflict often stems from ego, a need to be right or to prove your worth. Yet, as Marcus Aurelius suggested, taking things personally amplifies your suffering. By walking away, you're not ignoring the issue. You're choosing not to let it define you. For instance, if a coworker's criticism feels like a personal attack, instead of arguing, you might nod, walk away, and focus on your work. If a friend's drama threatens to pull you in, you might choose silence over adding to the chaos, redirecting your energy toward relationships that uplift you. The power of non-engagement lies in its ability to free you from unnecessary battles. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you're practicing discipline and aligning with Stoic wisdom. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or avoiding accountability. It means discerning when your input is necessary and when it's not. Silence can be a shield, protecting you from the emotional toll of pointless conflicts. It allows you to stay centered, keeping your focus on what drives your purpose, whether that's pursuing a passion, nurturing meaningful connections, or simply maintaining your peace of mind. So what's one situation in your life where silence could speak louder than words? Is there an ongoing argument that's draining your energy? A social media spat that's tempting you to respond, or a toxic dynamic that pulls you into negativity? Reflect on how it feels to be caught in that cycle. Now, imagine the relief of stepping back, of choosing not to engage. Picture yourself redirecting that energy towards something that fuels your growth, a project, a conversation with someone who inspires you, or a moment of quiet reflection. The Stoics remind us that silence is not passivity. It's a powerful choice to prioritize your peace. What's one step you can take today to let your silence speak? Find your worth within. In a world obsessed with external validation, likes, approvals, and applause, it's easy to believe our worth depends on others' opinions. The Stoics, however, saw this as a dangerous trap. The ninth Stoic lesson is about finding validation within yourself, not from the crowd. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, reflected deeply on this, asking whether he could control what others thought of him. His answer was a resolute no, and with that realization, he chose to let it go. By releasing the need for external approval, you free yourself to cultivate a deeper, more authentic sense of self-worth that no one can take away. The pursuit of external validation is like chasing a moving target. It is fleeting and often leaves you feeling empty. Social media amplifies this, with every post measured by likes or comments, but even in everyday life, we seek nods of approval from friends, colleagues, or family. The Stoics would argue that tying your worth to others' opinions is a recipe for fragility. Your value isn't determined by how many people praise you or agree with your choices. Instead, it's rooted in who you are, like a tree that stands tall regardless of who passes by. Walking away from the need for external validation is an act of liberation, allowing you to build a quiet confidence grounded in self-awareness and integrity. This Stoic principle centers on focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and values, while letting go of what you can't, like others' perceptions. Marcus Aurelius emphasized living in alignment with your own principles, not chasing applause. When you seek validation from within, you create an inner sanctuary, a place where your sense of self remains steady, no matter the external noise. This doesn't mean dismissing feedback or becoming arrogant. It means trusting your own judgment and values as the ultimate measure of your worth. By doing so, you cultivate resilience that external criticism or praise can't shake. To practice this, try a simple exercise the next time you're tempted to seek someone's approval. Pause and ask yourself, what do I think about this? Am I acting in line with my values? Take a moment to write down what matters most to you, your core principles, your goals, your vision for who you want to be. Let these guide your decisions, not the opinions of others. For example, if you're hesitating to make a career move because you fear judgment, check in with yourself. Does this align with my purpose? If the answer is yes, move forward, trusting your inner compass. This practice anchors you in your own truth, reducing the pull of external validation. Where in your life are you chasing validation? Perhaps it's in seeking approval from a boss who's hard to please, posting online for likes, or adjusting your behavior to fit someone else's expectations. Reflect on how this feels. Does it leave you fulfilled or drained? Now imagine the freedom of finding validation within. Picture making choices based on your values, not the crowd's applause. The Stoics teach that this shift is empowering, allowing you to live authentically. How would it feel to let go of that external chase and trust your own judgment? Try taking one small step today, whether it is making a decision without seeking input or affirming your worth through your actions. By seeking validation within, you are not just walking away from a trap, you are stepping into a life that is truly yours. Breathe in fresh possibilities. The final Stoic lesson is a liberating one. Walking away is like stepping outside after being confined in a stuffy room, where the air feels heavy and the walls close in. It's the moment you breathe in fresh air, feel your mind clear, and open yourself to new possibilities. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher-emperor, described inner peace as your ultimate fortress, a sanctuary that nothing can breach unless you allow it. Sometimes, protecting that fortress means walking away from what disrupts it, whether it's a toxic environment, a draining relationship, or a mindset that keeps you stuck. This act of letting go isn't retreat. It's a powerful step toward reclaiming your peace and shaping a life that reflects your truest self. Think back to a time you felt trapped, perhaps in a job that stifled your creativity, a relationship that dimmed your light, or a mindset that kept you tethered to fear or doubt. Staying in that space might have felt safe or obligatory, but it likely came at the cost of your joy and growth. The Stoics would argue that walking away from what no longer serves you is not running away. It is choosing a new path with intention. It's like opening a window in that stuffy room, letting a cool breeze sweep away the heaviness and fill the space with clarity. This choice creates room for what truly matters: personal growth, meaningful connections, and a life that feels authentically yours. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that your greatest power lies in your ability to control what you allow into your life. External circumstances, other people's actions, societal pressures, or past mistakes can only disrupt your peace if you grant them permission. Walking away is an exercise in that power, a deliberate act of saying, "This no longer belongs in my fortress." It's not about avoiding challenges, but about discerning which ones are worth your energy. For example, leaving a job that drains you might feel daunting, but it could open the door to a career that ignites your passion. Ending a relationship that feels heavy might pave the way for connections that uplift you. Even letting go of a limiting belief, like "I'm not good enough," can make space for confidence and self-acceptance. This Stoic lesson invites you to see walking away as an act of creation. By releasing what weighs you down, you're not just clearing out the old, you're making space for new possibilities. It's the fresh air that revitalizes you, the open window that lets in light. Imagine how it would feel to let go of something that's been holding you back, a grudge, a commitment that no longer aligns with your values, or a habit that keeps you stagnant. Picture the lightness, the sense of freedom, as you step into a space where you can breathe deeply and move toward what brings you joy. So, what's one thing you could walk away from to let in some fresh air? Is it a situation that's draining your energy, a relationship that's lost its spark, or a self-imposed expectation that's keeping you small? Take a moment to name it, to feel its weight. Then imagine the relief of letting it go. The Stoics remind us that your inner peace is your greatest asset, and protecting it sometimes means walking away. What is one step you can take today to open that window and invite in the fresh air of possibility? Your path forward. Here we stand, with 10 powerful Stoic lessons to guide your path toward a life of purpose and peace. Walking away, contrary to what some might think, is not about surrender. It's about choosing yourself with intention. It's about conserving your energy for what truly matters, setting firm boundaries to safeguard your inner calm, and finding closure within your own heart. It's about stepping boldly out of your comfort zone, releasing the futile need to change others, and trusting the quiet wisdom of your intuition. It's about knowing when to walk away from battles that drain you, letting your silence speak volumes, finding your worth deep within, and embracing the fresh possibilities that arise when you let go of what no longer serves you. These lessons, rooted in Stoic philosophy, offer a roadmap to a life with less chaos and more clarity, where every step is a choice toward your truest self. I'm deeply grateful you've joined me on this journey through Stoic wisdom. You're here because something in you is ready for more. A life where purpose outweighs distraction, where peace triumphs over turmoil. Each of these lessons, from Marcus Aurelius' call to master your mind to Epictetus' reminder to focus on what you control, is a tool to help you carve out that life. If these ideas have sparked something within you, a realization, a shift, or a quiet resolve, please share it. Drop a comment below and tell me, what are you walking away from? Maybe it's a toxic dynamic, a limiting belief, or simply the need for approval. Or perhaps just say, "I'm choosing my peace." Your words might inspire someone else to take that first step. If you found value here, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep this conversation alive. Your support helps spread this timeless wisdom to others who need it, creating a ripple effect of growth and clarity. Now here's your challenge. Pick one of these Stoic lessons and put it into action today. It doesn't need to be a grand gesture. Small steps build lasting strength. Maybe it's setting a boundary with someone who drains you, like saying no to an unnecessary obligation. Perhaps it's trusting your gut by stepping back from a situation that feels off, or choosing silence in a conflict that's not worth your energy. You could write down your values to anchor yourself in self-validation, or take a moment to let go of a grudge, opening the window to fresh possibilities. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, built their resilience through consistent, intentional choices, and you can too. Each decision to walk away from what dims your light brings you closer to a life aligned with your purpose. Walking away, as the Stoics teach, is an art, a deliberate act of courage and wisdom. It's not about escaping challenges, but about choosing which ones are worth your energy. As you move forward, carry these lessons with you. Let them remind you that your peace is your fortress, your intuition is your guide, and your worth is yours to define. Start with one step today, no matter how small, and watch how it transforms your path. Keep walking toward your peace, and I'll be here cheering you on, ready to dive deeper into this journey together in the next conversation. What's the one step you'll take today to choose yourself?